We roll through a busy Thursday night at Sports Leader TSN 1260. Brett Kulak will join us after 4 o'clock as he re-signed and a 4-year contract extension with the Edmonton Oilers. Also a new dad as became a father during the playoffs. So we'll find out how his fathering skills are going. What's he's learning on that department. Some good stories, I'm sure. Maybe a few blowouts. Everybody has one at some point. Those are always good. As long as they don't happen in the car seat in the car. That's the worst. The worst. Let's get to the racing report brought to you by CanTorque. There are a few tools to listen to the show, but none of them are as built as well as the tools from CanTorque. Check them out at CanTorque.com. Colin Livingston joins us once again. He is on the road in Montreal. Colin, I'll say this, the F1, man, I don't know in racing right now if there's a driver who has worse luck than Carlos Sainz, because he was poised to take over Max Verstappen there with what it was 8-9 laps left, and looked like he was going to finish second and would be in a 1-2 finish for Ferrari. And then his engine goes and his car catches on fire and he's got to get out of it. Like, it's amazing how Ferrari, like their ability to finish races has been arguably their biggest problem all year.
Absolutely. I mean, they are their toughest competition right now. When they manage to finish the race, they're there at the end and they're, chalking up podiums and getting wins. When the engine is not there or when there's a mechanical issue, they're not able to limp it out. Their failures have been catastrophic for the most part since the beginning of the year. Red Bull, I think they have more mechanical issues coming. I think they're in a really solid space right now, but I think that they're still poised for some gearbox and engine penalties once the end of the year gets going. And, we haven't got to the point of the year yet where the budget is going to start restricting these teams, because there's still a lot of talk, even with the, whatever it is, $3-4 million bump due to inflation, that teams are going to, they may have to skip races to make sure that they stay under the budget cap. Again, they're not really saying what the penalties are if they go over, but there's still a lot to play for here this year.
So when you look at that situation, what's a bigger challenge, like not being in contention or being in contention and having like small malfunctions or issues like that you have to kind of just live with and get frustrated with?
No, I mean, you always want to be in contention. That, that's everything. You can't just automatically get in contention when the teams in front maybe have to reduce their spend or maybe miss a race or what have you. That's not going to make you any quicker. That's just maybe going to let you leapfrog one race. Mercedes is finally starting to come on. I mean, 3 podiums in a row for Lewis. McLaren seems to have some of their issues figured out. Alpine is really running well, but I mean, right now the fight sure seems to be between Ferrari and Red Bull.
Oh yeah, that's about it. Although, hey, Lewis Hamilton 3 consecutive podiums, so they still find ways to do it. Now, 43 track limit infractions during Sunday's race, which was kind of amazing to me. Now, the previous race director is no longer available. Do you see any connection between that and this? And what did you make of the 43 track limit infractions?
Well, this is a new situation for F1, that there are alternating race directors, and what the downside of that is that when race director 1, which let's just say race director 1 was at Silverstone last week, when they have the drivers meeting the following week, that race director is not there to answer the questions of how rules were implemented, why penalties were doled out. Now, this race director number 2 that was in Austria, will not be there for the next race. So to find out what's going on and to try and get any kind of consistency is virtually impossible right now. And that's definitely a weakness with this system. Part of the issue, like Austria is an extremely high elevation track, like meaning that there's a lot of elevation change from start to finish. And with this new car with the big wings and the larger, 18-inch wheels, which have bigger tires, it's actually getting harder for drivers to see where they are on the track. I think going forward, what some of the drivers are talking about, and I agree with 100%, is that there needs to be a little bit of, for lack of a better term, common sense to determine if the driver went off, did it actually net a gain? Or if somebody gets run off the track, or if it's an instant, like sometimes you run off the track, you breach the track limit, but you go over the curbs and you damage your car. You go over the curbs and it upsets the car where it actually slows you down. Do you actually want to penalize someone for that when they've already penalized themselves? Because now we're not really focused on racing anymore. We're focused on these penalties, and I think just like everything, there's pendulum swings back and forth, and right now I think it's going to the cuckoo. I mean, there was so much stuff that happened off track last weekend that it's continued unfortunate behavior by some of the fans, but then you combine it with some of these rules infractions, and it takes away from what was really actually a great race, and there was a lot of awesome stuff happening on the track.
Tom, CanTorque Racing for Colin Livingston. Colin, let's flip over to IndyCar, and it's always nice to be wanted, but it seems like there's some debate about who the 2021 champ is actually going to race for next year.
Boy, is this ever a mess. For everyone who didn't actually get to see, the other day, Chip Ganassi Racing announced that they were exercising the option on Alex Palou, who is the 2021 champion. Later on that day, Palou actually came out shortly after McLaren said, we want to welcome Alex Palou to the team in 2023. And Alex Palou actually came out and said, hey, listen, although Ganassi said, yes, they've exercised their option on me, and cited a quote that I didn't give, my full intention is to race with McLaren next year. Really, really strange. And I think this is going to get way muddier before it gets better. We never know what the details of these contracts are. No matter what gets reported, you just never really know what's in there. I think Ganassi realized that Palou probably had a legitimate out because McLaren, aside from their IndyCar side of things, also has the F1 side. And, if they already announced that Palou was going to be part of their F1 development program as a reserve driver and part of their past car testing program. So that might be the loophole that he needs, because that's not something that Ganassi can offer. But it'll be really interesting because we've got our NASCAR race and IndyCars here in Toronto this weekend. I got a few friends over at that McLaren team that I'm gonna try and twist their arm a little bit and just see what the story is. But I suspect, as fresh as it is, it either might be off the record conversations, or my friends just won't say anything.
Well, the interesting part about that whole story was Palou coming out saying, hey, I've learned from media that without my approval, Chip Ganassi issued a press release announcing that I would be driving. Even more surprising was they included a quote, which did not come from me. So basically making up a quote for, I'm really happy to be back, even though that's wasn't from him directly. So yeah, that's not an ideal look, to say the least. For them. Now, IndyCar is going back to Toronto this weekend for the first time in 3 years. Nice to be back in TO.
Yeah, love it here. If the lighting was a little bit better, I'd be able to switch my camera. I've got the CN Tower on one side of me and Skydome on the other. We'll get to see a little bit of practice. We're, from the NASCAR side, we're only here tomorrow, and then we have to boogie off to Quebec for a go-kart race. But yeah, it's going to be great. I mean, tomorrow, free Friday, so anyone who attends gets into the race at no charge for all of our action, all of the IndyCar action, and all the support series that'll be running. And then, yeah, I mean, Toronto was always a driver favorite, and this place fills up pretty quick, and very, very passionate fans here.
Now, Pinty's, there's 25 cars entered in the race this weekend, but it's a single day race event, correct, this time?
Yeah, kind of strange for a road course. Normally we do weekends worth, but because of the packed schedule with IndyCar, we're just in and out in a day. And 25 cars is a mega field. But our car counts have been up all year, so that's pretty cool.
Now, with what's the big challenge of like having 25 cars in the field? Does it make it more entertaining, or do you find it's not as entertaining from a racing perspective?
There's definitely going to be a handful of cars that are just running laps. There is no requirement to maintain a minimum speed that's ever actually been enforced. Our hope is, this may come across as arrogant, but Alex has won 2 out of the last 3, and I think 3 out of the last 4 races here. Always in contention on this track. We get a great car from 22 Racing, so we should be up front. We'll also count on Ranger to be up there, Cameron to be up there, Dumoulin to be up there. There's going to be a pretty consistent pack up front. It's after a few laps when we start overtaking the lap cars. We hope that their spotters are on. But it's a really tight track, and if the lap cars aren't really paying attention, it can turn into a mess really quickly. So, just hoping that things go smoothly tomorrow.
Let's just wrap it up with the EDKRA and their summer challenge. It's running there right around the corner, and there's a big cash prizes available for it.
Yeah, next week kicks off 2 big weeks out at the track. So the summer challenge is a 3-day event. Already announced $80,000 in prizes. So for club racers and hobby racers, this is going to be a real big thing. There's arrive and drive packages out at Area 27. There's some open wheel stuff that's going to happen. There's lots of engines, cash prizes for winners, or if you're in the top 3. It'd be great to see a few people out at the track. Come out and see grassroots racing. When you get to see racing in person is always a different experience than what you see on TV, but getting to see these go-karts rip around a track where you can be standing 15-20 feet away behind a fence, very safely behind a fence. People be very, very, I think they'd be surprised at just how quick we hustle these things. And then the following week, last weekend of the month, is the final leg of the Rotax Canada Final. So that's where the real big guys are going to be running for their grand finals tickets.
Should be a lot of fun, Colin. We appreciate it. Good luck this weekend. Enjoy race. Are you sticking around for the Indy?
No, we race tomorrow, and immediately after the race, we book it back to Quebec, the 6-hour rip up the 401. And we're going to be supporting our CRG race program with Matthew Taskinen, who's he's leading in the West right now after round 1, but he has a chance to win his ticket out in the East as well at Mount Tremblant. So Canadian Open out for the Eastern side of things. That's where we got to go after tomorrow.
All right. Drive safe. Don't get a speeding ticket.
Always do.
That's
drive
Colin.
Safe, not get the ticket.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. I like it. Good answer. Good answer. That's Colin Linston with the Racing Report, brought to you by CanTorque. Check out all their tools at CanTorque.com.